a lot. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is time for another episode of Reggie's Expressions, and I do have a special guest to the room. This young lady is somebody that I met this year and have forged a fast and friendly friendship, and she is the person that I go to for all of my notary knowledge. Not to say anything with Ayana. Ayana's still my homie. That's my dog. She's always gonna be my dog. But through Ayana, I met Berjoh. Berjoh is an expert on all things notary. She is constantly talking about her business, also doing everything under the sun, and she's a full-time mom and a full-time um, notary, and has a full-time job. So she is just all of the things. So I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to give my guest an opportunity to officially introduce herself, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the questions that we'll have after that. So, Miss Berjoh, how are you? Or other way, Miss Berjoh, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me. So,
No
I'm
worries.
not a notary full time. I'm a notary part time.
I feel like you.
Um,
I feel like as much as we talk, like you do a lot. You know what I'm saying? I
I
know it's
do.
part time, but at the same time
I do.
too, you do have a tendency to just you. No matter what, you can get it done. Nothing seems to be too big of an obstacle for you. So that's why I said that. In my mind, I like to think that I'm fully full time when it comes to weddings, even though I do it part time. I
hmm
do
hmm
push my business 100% of the time, no matter where I am and what capacity. So that's why I said that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah. I am a notary. I am a mom. I am a wife, and I do work full time. It's just
Okay.
a matter of me organizing everything. If I'm not organized, I lose it. So I tend to make sure everything is organized and planned out in advance so that way life can be easy peasy for me. Sometimes I overplan and then I end up finding myself being bored because I'm like, oh man, what do I have anything to do now? But that works for me.
Mhm. So, um, you know, like I said, I met you through the notary space. Again, Ayana Lugo, the crafty notary, is we became friends, and as I guess you would say, incidental. I met Berjoh, not by any small feat, but one of the things that I enjoyed about you and Ayana is how freeing you guys were with giving the information. Sometimes in this business, especially when you're a start out notary, you'll have people that try to, I like to call it nickel and dime you with what offers and courses they have,
hmm
and, not saying that you guys, there's definitely, times where there is a paywall there, but for the most part, when it comes to just standard day-to-day practices in terms of, how to notarize certain documents and things of that nature, you guys are very freeing with giving the information. So I've always appreciated that about your that. So when did you get into notary, or when did you start?
So I became a notary in July of 2020.
Okay.
And how I learned about it was I had a travel agency business prior to this. And I had my travel agency from, um, I think I started in 2018. I just
Mm-hmm.
closed it this year because of COVID and everything. But anyway, I was looking for a virtual mailbox because
Okay.
I wanted to, because I mailed things out all the time and I wanted to have an address where my customers would mail things to me, but I didn't want anybody to know my home address. So I was Googling and I came across Anytime Mailbox. And so found the address. I saw the address was right across from where I was living at the time. And I'm like, yeah, win-win, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
fill out the application and I noticed it needed to be notarized. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, I gotta go get this notarized. What the heck? And I'm like, and I'm just thinking like, so I gotta wait till tomorrow because it was late at night.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I find myself up late at night doing things, especially after the kids go to sleep, because I have time to focus. So I'm
Right.
like, I really want to get this done now because I want to lock in the address. Like the address was ideal. So it's like I didn't want that address to get, taken. So I saw that they were offering online notary, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. I can get everything done and secure this address. So I hook up with the person online. It was notarized, is what they offer. Went
Mm-hmm.
online, got the document notarized, easy peasy. Before the guy ended the session, I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions, not related to my document, but related to notary? Like, how the heck did you stumble upon this?" And he was like, "Sure." I picked his brain. He gave me a whole lot of information and I saved it. And I did not pursue being a notary until a year later.
Okay, so
So that's
2019.
how, right,
Okay,
right.
okay. So, so fast forward to a year later, what sparked you into like, okay, now I got to use this thing that I've put effort into getting? What made you decide to start using your commission?
Well, before I started doing notary work and before I became a notary, I did some research. So
Mm-hmm.
it took me a couple of months. I wanted to do some research because like I said, I'm a planner. So I wanted to see, is this something that I want to get into or is this just something that I just may not be able to do? What am I going to be capable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I looked into it. I watched a ton of videos, followed a bunch of influential people that you guys may know. Um, um, Kendra of Signing Agent Basics, Vanessa of Notary to Notary, Lauren
Mm-hmm.
Buer, um, Carol Ray, and Bill Soroka. Those were my people, and I watched a bunch of their videos, attended a bunch of their lives, and I was just like, you know what, this is something I can do. I can do this. I can offer this in addition to my travel agency. So before I opened, I actually started the planning, right? Because I'm a
Okay.
planner. Started my social media, started my website, did my Google My Business page because I was already familiar with those things because of my prior business. So I
Mm-hmm.
already knew what to do. Registered my business name, obviously before all of that, purchased my domain, purchased my email. Like I'm preparing. So
Mm-hmm.
everything was already set for me to launch. I became commissioned in July of 2020, and my opening date was August. So anywhere and everywhere where I had access, I was posting, "Hey, the Elise Notary Services will be opening soon. If you need
Mm-hmm.
anything notarized, I'll be available August 1st."
Okay.
So I opened up August 1st, and um, a week later, I had my first customer.
Wow.
So
That
it
fast.
was the whole, it was the planning. It was the planning. People saw it was
Okay.
coming, so they were just waiting. And
Yeah.
so it really it took off for me quickly. It wasn't something that I had to wait on.
I will have to say, the planning part obviously makes perfect sense looking back at it now. Hindsight is 2020. But I was one of those people that opened my doors and I was just like, what are they at? What are they at though? Where is the customers? I don't understand why there's not a line out here. I don't why did I do all of this? so so to anybody who is interested in doing, and it doesn't necessarily have to be notary business. For anybody who's interested in, being a business owner, you got to plan and you have to set the expectation with starting with your social media that you use the most, and then venture out to other ones, or at least that's my take on it. And you just have to get people ready because even though you might be a notary, there's a million other people who are becoming notaries too, so you kind of have to get in where you fit in and also put it out there. Um so the next question that I have here for you is your first notary job. What was it? How did who did you know the person?
Yes. So my first
Okay.
notary job was actually my friend Melanie.
Mm-hmm.
Her son was heavily in sports. He was in high school at the time. And she
Mm-hmm.
said she always had her boss notarize the documents for her, but she was like, "I want to be your first customer. So as soon
Oh,
as you get your book and your stamp and whatever else it is you need, call me and I want you to come and notarize this document. I'm not letting anybody else notarize it."
okay.
So I went to her house and I looked over the document and I remember watching the videos, but it doesn't matter how many videos you watch. When you're sitting
Right.
there in front of it and actually getting ready to do it,
Doing
it's
it.
like everything kind of like fades. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, no, I know this. So I'm looking at the
Mm-hmm.
document and she's really patient with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not really a nervous person,
Mm-hmm.
so like if I need time to process something, I'm going to take my time, and I don't really care about how the other person
What
feels,
other
right?
people? That's
So
good.
I'm just looking at it. I'm looking. I'm like, okay, I know what to do. So I fill it out. I notarize it. I um, obviously before that, I took her ID and I filled out my journal and everything first because you are supposed to do that first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I notarized the document, and then that was it.
Okay.
That
Okay.
was it. And she was like, so how do you feel? And I don't know. I mean, I feel good. I got my first entry in my journal, and
hmm hmm
it felt good. It felt good.
Who did you get your NNA from? Or I'm sorry, who did you get your your commission from? Sorry.
The NNA, the
Okay.
NNA. Hmm.
Who'd you get your NNA from? I really didn't know that. I was actually kind of curious. I did mine through NNA. You guys know the story. I actually, a friend of mine he got his notary and he started talking about loan signing stuff. And from that, I started to do the research and I came across Ayana's video, the Crafty Notary. And I remember specifically saying that it was too much money for me to, become a loan signing agent. And she was like, yeah, just go ahead and rip out the credit card. And that's exactly what I did. And, a month later, I actually had my commission first, which was July of 2022. And then I got my loan signing in 2020, well, in February. And I did my first signing in March. So took a little bit of time, but that was also because I didn't plan, and I also didn't have any of the things. I actually didn't get a Google My Business until like 3 months in, to be honest.
Oh,
So
dang.
yeah, that Yelp is what I did first, and I was on Yelp for a while. And Yelp was all about sending me business when I was paying for it. And then
Of
when I
course.
stopped paying for it, they was like, "Nah, son," So you know, so you said you had your own business with the travel agency, and then you
Yeah.
transitioned into doing this. Um, what are some other things that are under your banner that you do as well?
So my very first business was a natural body care um, business that I had. I made anything you could think of. I made body butters, lotions, soap, shampoo, lip balm,
Mm-hmm.
scrubs. I made massage oil candles. I did a lot of different things, and they were all natural, and it was all triggered by me having sensitive skin. And when I had my babies, their skin was super sensitive. So I
Okay.
was at first making things for them, and then it
Mm-hmm.
just, trickled into a business. So that's what I
Okay.
did. Yeah,
Gotcha. You
before
still
the
do the body
travel.
butter? You still
I do
do?
not. No,
Mm-hmm.
no. I still have my recipes, and I can make some stuff if I want to, but I don't have the time
It
anymore.
looks like we have a special guest up here. We have Stephanie Leandra. How are you? I don't think you can hear me because I had invited you upstairs. I'm gonna go ahead and bring her on here and
Okay.
see if she has something to say. How are you, Stephanie? It look like you're dark
I'm
over there. We can't see you.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
It's I'm outside. Hi Berjoh. Hi Reggie. How
Hi,
are you
Stephanie.
guys?
Hello. How are you?
Good,
Stephanie
thank you.
is actually in the Central Florida Notary group, and I think she's also in
Yes.
Ayana's and Berjo's group as well. And she is a fellow notary. I think you said you've had your notary for what, 4 or 5 years, or is that right?
4 years.
Okay,
Yeah, four
okay,
years.
okay. So,
Berjoh, I did your notary primer review as well, so she's
I
very
remember
familiar with
you
my
from that.
voice.
Uh-huh.
mhm, just doing all the things. So, question for you,
Yes.
Stephanie. Um, how you said you've been a notary for 4 years. How did you get into being a notary?
I was just looking for ways to make some additional income, and I came across it on. I actually found a young lady on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
that I reached out to because I saw a video that she had,
Mm-hmm.
and she kind of got me started in the notary as far as setting up,
Mm-hmm.
registering and so on. I think you guys can see me now.
Yes, we can.
Sorry. Um, so that's how I got started. Primarily, I was focusing on loan signings only. I didn't do any general notary work.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, I was like, if I want to broaden my notary business, I need to get into general notary work. That's when I was introduced to Courtney.
Mm-hmm. Courtney
And Courtney
Baldwin. Mm-hmm.
introduced me to Courtney Baldwin. She introduced me to your group, Reggie, and then from Reggie's group, I got Berjoh's group, and also
Ayana, the
uh
crafty notary.
Ayana. Yes, I think I
Mm-hmm.
talked to everybody.
Yes, yes.
So
And
yeah.
that's one of the things that's super important in terms of, the notary business. I mean, obviously getting your commission and going through that whole process is good,
Mhm.
but networking with people, because I know for a fact that I ain't never really in, the Coconut Creek area, but I know Berjoh is. So I can send somebody Berjoh's way. Or in the Tampa
Mhm.
area, Ayana got that on lock. Or if it's something that I can't do, I can either give it to Courtney or Stephanie in the Central Florida area. So, having that key to be able to go back and forth and create relationships, is the best thing. So so you do the primer every Sunday, right, Berjoh?
No, we are done with the primer.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes, yes. We
Okay.
we reviewed it and we're done.
Okay, how many weeks was it?
I think I did 5 sessions.
Okay.
I think
Mhm.
we did 5 meetings on it. Yeah.
One thing about Berjoh, y'all, she each one teach one, y'all. She each one teach one. Like she, once she has the tools and she tells you, there's so many times where I'm talking to her and Ayana, and there's like they're just having casual conversation, and I'm just a fly on the wall, and I'm just like, you know,
Absorbing it,
soaking up
huh?
whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice. Let me go and write that down. Let me write that down. Um, so Stephanie, do you have anything else for us? Anything you want to say to anybody? Any shout outs or anything?
Definitely shout out to Courtney. Like she is my girl. She hooked me up with a lot of resources as far as getting a website. Like a lot of things I didn't think of doing. She definitely had the right people that she, can refer to
Mhm.
us and the other ones in the group as well. And I shout out to her. Berjoh, shout out for the primer. Like I told you, if you didn't do it, I would have never looked at it because it's like, it's a little intimidating.
Yeah, it
Reggie,
can
shout out
be.
to you for your
Thank you.
lives, for
Mhm.
sharing about your wedding officiant stuff. And I did one before,
Uh-huh.
and that was the only one. Definitely thinking about going back, but definitely want to get more into general notary work, being more comfortable, and then maybe adding officiant back as a service.
And for sure, shout out to Courtney, because Courtney did in moments notice my notary meetup that I did in June. What's up to Ayana? By the way, I got you. Um, so I just wanted to make sure I shouted you out. I wanted to make sure that I saw it. But Courtney, I just randomly was having a conversation with everybody because I really wanted it to go well. And long story short, she told me that she did weddings. I was like, well, one of my speakers is not here. Do you mind speaking? And she was like, yeah, reluctantly said yes. And then before you knew it, she had the rest of the crowd eating out of her hands. And she's very responsible for my wedding officiant business and pushing me into doing it. So shout out to her. I love you dearly, Courtney. And thank you for throwing little nuggets out there because I've learned a lot from you too. So, well, Stephanie, thank you for joining us. Um, definitely meet us in the comments for sure. You're going to be on my list next to interview. Okay.
All right, no problem.
All right. Well,
You
have a
guys,
good night. We'll talk to you soon.
all right, bye.
Bye. So that was Stephanie. Stephanie is in the Central Florida. You guys heard the rundown. That's what it's about. It's about creating relationships among folks who really want to do the work in terms of making their business happen. A lot of folks sometimes just want the name of being a business owner, but don't want to do the work, myself included. You know what I'm saying? But you got to do the work, and that's one of the reasons why I had Berjoh here, because she is all about doing the work. Hello to whoever that is. I'm not quite sure because I can't see your name. You have to go on StreamYard.com and actually hit the permissions button so we can see who you are. Or if you just want to put your name in the comments, that's great too. So, hello, I'm glad you are able to join us. So, Berjoh, how did you get into the loan signing aspect of it?
So when I first became a notary, I was just interested in doing notary and online.
Okay.
I had no interest in doing loan signing, but I started to attend more of the live TNT with Bill Soroka, Laura Buer, and the late Carol Ray.
Uh-huh.
And it became interesting. I was like, even though that's not my focus, I guess I could gain the knowledge to do it just in case it came up. At least I'll be able to do it because I'm all about, you know, having everything together. You know, I wear many hats, but I don't like wearing hats that I'm not prepared for. So
Right.
I was like, all right, no. So I, like I said, became a notary in July. I took Carol Ray's Notary to Pro loan signing course and finished that in October.
Okay.
Either October, I did it in October or November. It finished that. And so I actually had my first loan signing before I did that. And that's another thing that made me do it because Notary Dash,
Mm-hmm.
uh I forget the name of the company. Oh, Coast to Coast Signings contacted me. Found
Okay.
me on NNA's signingagent.com website because once
Mm-hmm.
you become a signing agent through them, they list you on their website. So they called me for a signing, and I'm like, I don't have training in that, but I'm assuming you just looking at the documents, whatever needs to be notarized, notarize it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I took the appointment, I went, and it like to scare me to shit. I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, huh. I was like, well, I guess I probably should, get some training on this so that I'm better prepared next time. So I did that one loan modification, which was actually easy. It wasn't hard, but I just felt so ill prepared that I felt it would make sense for me to go ahead and take it. So I got into loan signings in October and November, and then I didn't really focus on it much. I got it. I did a few more loan mods. Actually, did a handful actually because they were just coming back to back at that point. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people were getting that, so I did a bunch of those, and that's what really started me into the loan signing, and it just kind of went from there. I'm very blessed to say that because of all the preparing I was doing, it
Mm-hmm.
was not hard for me to get business. I actually was turning down business because of my full-time job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Must be nice, Berjoh. That's my saying. I say that all the time. I know her and Yana be want to choke the ish out of me. Like, Reggie, shut up. But it's what I do. So Janet Garmont actually said, I am watching the live for the first time and I'm interested in starting part-time as I currently work for a law firm and have my notary and would like to expand. Is there something that one can do after hours or weekends? So Janet, yes, I actually am a full-time worker as well. And when I'm at work, I get phone calls during the day. So I don't have I have to be laser focused sometimes with the calls because they're very like, I'm very into it. So I can only do either early in the morning from 8 to about 9, which is not that much time. And I do it at night. I'm literally open 24 hours, but that's just for me to get more footprint on my more eyes on my business. I say that I'm open 24 hours. Typically, I will get a lead and I negotiate a time that works best. Sometimes that doesn't always work, but yeah, you can do it in after hours and on the weekends. So on the weekends, I typically have a little bit more free time to do that, and I'm pretty much open. So I so yes, it can be done. Brojo, do you have anything that you would want to add?
Yes, weekends and after hours is actually more popular than you would think because you have to remember just how you work during the day. People who are doing these closings work during the day too. So the best time to reach them is after work.
Right, that's true. That's what I do. I mean, and that sometimes I tell you, one time I had um a adoption. No, I didn't know it was an adoption until I think I did. Maybe that didn't. But anyway, I was just sitting here at 6:30 on my job, getting ready to go off and go downstairs as I normally do. And I got a phone call on my business phone, and it was a young lady who was like, "Yeah, I need to, sign so many documents, blah blah blah. How much would it cost?" And I was able to get a $90, job after hours, at a hospital. So sometimes jobs do come at a moment's notice, and you never, as a person, like myself, you never know when you're going to need a notary. So why not put it out there and make money off of it? So she
And then
asked.
to add to, you got to remember that
Hmm.
UPS and all these other stores, they close at a certain time, and the
That's
person may
true.
not be able to get off in time to go there.
That's
So
true.
if
Good point.
you offer after hours, you're going to get that business that UPS is not getting. And as well as the banks. The banks, they close for holidays, they close super early. And don't forget, banks don't notarize everything.
Right.
They're not allowed to. They don't
Hmm.
let their workers notarize power of attorneys, wills, they don't allow them to do copy certifications, all of that stuff that notaries can do. The banks have restrictions on what
Hmm.
their workers can do. So there is a big need for notaries to be available after hours and online.
Hmm. So she asked, she said, thanks to you both. Where did she start the process? You have to become commissioned. Some people do it through their state website. I know ours is sunbiz.org, if I'm not mistaken, which is what is that? The Division of Correct Corporations. Is that right?
Yeah.
Division of corporations. You can go that route, but that's more of a on your own type of thing. I did it through NNA. Virgil did it through NNA, which was more of a guided process, I think. And
Hmm.
it just
They
depends
do
on
everything for you, so all in one
right.
shop.
It depends on what you want to do. Yes, NNA is more, but again, it's a one stop shop, as Virgil was saying. And
Hmm.
the sunbiz.org is more on your own. I don't know what state you're in, Janet. That applies to Florida. If you're here in the state of Florida, my recommendation is to Google your state if you're not in Florida, and put, notary, how to become a notary, and that'll tell you. So, oh no, I'm country, so I'm saying NNA. I'm saying N is in November, N is in November, A is in Apple. So,
It's the National Notary Association.
hmm, okay, so you're in Florida. So yeah, that website, National Notary Association, and there's a bunch of other places. My recommendation is to be, competitive. Try to be competitive. Find out who has the best price for you, and go with that company. And if you're in either Berjo's group or my group, or the Crafty Notaries group, we're gonna have some. Oh, you're already a notary. I gotcha. Okay. Um, she's already a notary. She's in
Okay,
Florida.
so how you can get started is by marketing. You got to market, decide what you want to do, what can you do and what can't you do, and go that route.
Mhm. So I hear you say marketing, man. I hear a lot of people say marketing, marketing, marketing. What does that mean? What is marketing?
Marketing is selling. That's basically
Okay.
what it is. You need to sell yourself and you need to build relationships while you're doing it because people get tired of getting sold to all the time. So you need to see what is it, you need to reach out to people and see what it is it that you can help them with and what can they help you with,
Hmm.
so that it's a two-way street. Marketing is so easy to do. I know it's kind of intimidating for people because people really don't like to talk about about themselves and what they do. But if you're going to be servicing and working with people, they want to know what you do. What can you do to help me?
Hmm.
What is a notary? What do notaries do? Why would I need to use you? Why should I use you? And
Hmm.
you should be able to answer that without taking a breath. It should be and that's it. Just
Hmm.
go for it. Um, I do a lot of I do a lot of marketing. I like to schedule my digital marketing, and then I like to go to networking events and market face to face so that people can put a face with the name and the business. I
Hmm.
like to present myself professionally, let them know that I'm here to help them, and let them know that if they need me, their clients will be absolutely happy with my services, which will then reflect upon them.
For sure, for sure. So I know we got into the notary part, and I just want to make sure that I'm clear with this too. There's so many things that you can do under the brand of notary, but don't sleep on general notary work. That can be very lucrative in terms of, travel fees and things of that nature. This is my philosophy. I'm not trying to get rich off of one customer. So a lot of times my intention is to service, and it's a need, case by case basis, right? One size don't always fit all, depending on what customer. But the very least, general notary work, and I know that there was a big sentiment among some of the groups that I was a part of during the summertime that had this over. You can tell the tension between people looking at general notary work as being kind of like the peons work, and then loan signing being this upper echelon and where you can make more money. But there have been times where I've made more as a mobile notary, general notary, going to and from, than I have with loan signing. Can you speak to that a little bit, Berjoh?
I sure can. Um, what So we can only charge what our state allows. But don't forget that there are other services that you can put into there, that you can offer. So for example, I have 3, 4 printers at my house. Sometimes people, if they reach me after hours, obviously the places where they can go get copies from are closed. So they'll email me their documents. I'll charge them a print fee, obviously, because they're using my toner, my electricity, my paper. I charge them for travel. I charge them for however many documents require notary signature.
Mm-hmm.
If they have additional signers, I charge for that. I mean, there is sky is the limit for whatever you can throw in there, that would be justified, obviously. Like he said, you're not trying to get rich off of one person, be reasonable, but those are different things that you can charge for. And, depending on how many documents it is, the good thing about general notary work is you're paid the same day. You're paid the
Mm-hmm.
same day. You don't have to wait 30, 45, sometimes 50 days for a payment for doing a loan
Yep,
signing,
that's true.
So my thing is general notary. When I first became a notary, that's all I did was general notary. Even though I went and got my credentials to do loan signing, I was heavy on the general notary because people were calling my Google business. They were finding me on Google business and calling me,
Mm-hmm.
left and right. I was getting calls back to back, and sometimes I would have to ignore the calls because I work full time.
So, I already alluded to the fact that, being a notary, there's other jobs. What are some of the other things that you do as well under the banner of being a notary?
So, the wedding officiant, I
Mm-hmm.
did that. And actually, it wasn't something that I had advertised for in the beginning. Somebody had just called me randomly and was like, "We need you to do it," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So that I was doing field inspections. I decided not to do them anymore. It's a lot of different things they want me to do for very little
Mm-hmm.
money. So I decided not to do it. But um, I do apostles.
Okay.
I do facilitate that process for people. Um, Apostle
What's
field
apostle? Who said
inspection.
that? Who said that? What's Somebody said what's apostles?
All right, so an apostle is a additional authentication that only the state can can do. And what it is authenticating the notary. Okay, so it's a certificate stating that they verified my credentials. They're looking over the document to make sure that I notarized it correctly, and then they're issuing the certificate. And the apostle is issued when a document is going to be used outside of the country.
Okay. Gotcha. So I hadn't done an apostille yet, and I'm intimidated by the process because there's a lot of little intricacies to me. And when I can't be that laser focused on something, because it will just freak me out and I won't do it. So that's why I'm even though weddings can also have its tendency to have very mundane things, I get to show my personality doing that. You know what I'm saying? So Al Pastillo, you said you do the wedding officiant. You didn't advertise for it. and then general notary work, loan signing, and you also do Ron.
Oh yeah, I do online notary as well. Yes.
hmm So, for those of you who might not know, Ron is it's really the truth. And I actually, with Ayana, the crafty notary, and Berjoh, I they are heavy into that. Me for the sole purpose of having to explain the process. That's just me. That's something that's intimidating to me because I know I don't have patience when it comes to people and technology because I worked in cell phone services for years, for almost 17 years plus. So I'm good on that. But if I had something that really took me to do that, and I wanted to, please the client, that is something I would throw out there. But Ron is remote online notarization. Basically, the way I understand it to be is you work on a specific platform, and you basically remote notarize their documentation, whether it's an acknowledgement or a jurat or whatever else they may need. Um, and there is special training that you do have to partake in as well. But I'm going to give it over to the expert because she definitely has a lot more expertise in that than I do. Because I'm just telling you what my understanding of what Ron is.
So to become a Ron in Florida, you do need to take an educational course. It's just, I think, 3 hours, something like 2 or 3 hours, just like
Yeah.
becoming a notary. And
hmm
then you just send in the credentials that are required on the application. But the training, unfortunately, you don't have to be trained. Now, the platforms, they're going to give you some type of training because they want you to, not be botching up people's documents on their platform, obviously. But
hmm
I think that's what scares people the most is that there is not really any real training for it. But
hmm
it's not difficult. It's just the same as doing face to face. The only thing is you're having to operate on a platform and push a bunch of buttons.
hmm
So
hmm
um, it's really easy and it's really quick and it's so much better than having to get out and the hustle and bustle of things and drive around to somebody's home. Now I do mobile, but I don't prefer it. I do prefer to do online because this is my workstation. I work here and then I come and then I work here for my business. So it's just so much easier to just
hmm
slide my chair on over and
hmm
notarize my document and slide my chair back over and go back to work. So
hmm
I definitely prefer that.
And then the state of Florida, we can actually notarize any document across, the U.S. So we're not only confined to the state of Florida. We can do
No.
it anywhere for anybody who, even online, that happen to be international too. There are certain stipulations that you have to follow, but for the most part there's no limit. And I do see that coming to the forefront because, to be honest, when COVID jumped off, a lot of us weren't able to move, and goodness forbid if something like that happens again, that's what we're gonna have to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
Mhm.
and these are other ways that you can, use your commission. I
Mhm.
personally do mine with weddings. Initially, I didn't start there. I started, like I said, with the general notary. The wedding came after I had a, crash course with Courtney, and I found that it's something that allows my personality to kind of flourish. So I do really well on that, and I focus on that. But I will say everybody, I mean, you can have your niche on what it is you want to do. You pick it. My recommendation, Stephanie, because I know you said you're intimidated by Ron and apostilles, and this is also talking to myself as well, is to go out and do it. The more you do it, the more comfortable you'll become and the easier it will get. I don't get a lot of notarizations, you know what I'm saying, online notarizations often. But if I actually put forth an effort and sat down and did try to, accept it, because they come through, e-notary on call come through literally all times of the night, to be honest. One night I might just get up and, do it at 2 o'clock in the morning. But it all depends on the platform that you use. Because depending on that platform being old or new, you might be fighting for customers. So, um, So one of the things that you said that I admire that you do is you said you plan out your social media. What does that mean? How you planning out your social media?
So what I do is I monitor my social media analytics. Okay.
Hmm.
What that
Hmm.
means is I'm looking for trends. I'm looking to see what posts are getting the most views, are getting the most engagement. Okay. So different types of posts are more popular. For some reason, people like to see posts with my face on it. So I try to make a lot of different posts, and you may see my picture several times in a month. But it draws attention, so I try to give people what they want.
Hmm.
um what I do is I look, and I have a calendar that I actually share in my student group. But
Hmm.
that is a paid group. It's not free, so unfortunately people can't just join it. But we do these every month. We put out a calendar. I print out a clear, blank calendar for them to fill in, and they're able to write every day of the week what the topic is going to be on what they want to post. And then they use whatever design app they want to create this post, that relates to that topic. So, like, on Sundays, I might share some RSS feeds, which is basically just articles that I think people will be interested in. Mondays, I try to do some motivational or inspiration. um, on Tuesday, I focused on remote online. Then Wednesday, I did something regarding to related to real estate. Then Thursday, something related to weddings. Friday, something related to thank God it's Friday. Let's enjoy the weekend.
Hmm.
Saturday, something related to wellness. How are we going to do some self care? So, and then I alternate. So, like, I had all of that for one week. Then for the next week, I followed the same themes, but I flipped it around for different days. And I
Hmm.
filled out my whole calendar to do that. And then I use Canva. I have a subscription with them for, I have Canva Pro. And so with Canva Pro, I go on there and I use their templates. The only time I build templates from scratch or build, a design from scratch is if it's something that I'm looking for that's not there. But I use their
Right.
templates, and all I do is just plug in what I'm talking about, and that's it. It's like it's so easy. It does take a lot of time though. So I plan this out for the whole month in advance, and then I leave it. So
Right.
like for October, all of my social media is already planned and scheduled for October. And then what's this week? So the 30th, probably
Hmm.
the 29th, and 30th, I'll be doing this calendar again and planning out all of my posts for November.
Everybody ain't able to just be so two people, not two people, but Stephanie and Janet has the question, and I was wondering if you could, because I can put it in the chat here. Can you send
Mhm.
me a copy of your of or send me the link to your how they can join your student group and actually be students of yours, and you can say it
So
on here too.
So for the student group, that was for people who had completed my general notary course. Okay, because
Hmm.
I actually have a general notary course. The website is www.thenotaryeducationgrp, which stands for group.com.
You have to send.
But for those people who are not interested in taking the general notary course, they're like, hey, I've been doing general notary forever. I really don't want that. I just want access to you, your mentorship, and I want to do activities with you and your students because the activities that I do with my students are business building activities. This is for them to be successful because otherwise they wouldn't do it. So it's a team thing. We do this together. Now, I don't know if they are actually following the calendar, but we do it together.
Hmm.
Now I do have it to where if you go on that website, you can literally just be a part of the mentorship period. You pay one fee and that's it. You're just in there. We have a WhatsApp chat, and we meet monthly now doing Q&A. We used to meet weekly, but I wasn't getting a lot of participation, and I don't like to waste my time. So I stopped doing the weekly, and we started doing it monthly. And so far, the monthly is working.
That's good. See, these are levels that I can reach. But that one of the thing about being a teacher is you have to have it in you. And like I said, it's. Oh, Stephanie said, repeat the website again.
Oh, it's www.thenotaryeducationgrp.com. G is in green, R is in red, P is in Paul.com.
All righty. The Notary Education.
grp.com.
grp.kism.
Did it come up?
www. I'm gonna put it up on here.
Okay. I gotta look. Let me type it in my phone too. So make sure I'm not giving you guys the wrong link. That the Notary Education grp.com. Okay, yes, that's it.
Okay. All right. And there it's in the comment section for you, those of you guys who are interested. This will also be in the show notes too. So for those of you who will catch it on the replay, because this is going to live in perpetuity, as in what Ayana says on my on my Facebook page. So you guys will have access to this. And no, thank you guys, Stephanie and Janet, and everybody that's watched who might not have said anything. Thank you guys for the opportunity. What we're gonna do now at this point, I told Berjoh that this isn't gonna be more than 45 minutes, and she got 2 young babies that she has to go and take care of. So we're gonna go ahead and end it here. But that means that you guys are gonna have to come back for when we do part 2 in the future. Okay, if there's a part 2, because Berjoh has to plan it out. So
I do.
We'll make sure that
my schedule.
We'll make sure that we, get that out there. But thank you so much for everybody who joined us. This was more fun and it was informational, and I appreciate you guys out there asking questions and keeping us entertained, and most importantly, allowing us to be able to share a little bit of our knowledge. You can actually go past and go beyond. Like Berjoh said, she does have that group that she has, that you can either join her mentorship or actually be a student of hers. And it's good information, man. It's really good information for you to learn. And she just does it without any, she's just like, here you go. All right, there's another one right over there. Okay, you got that one, go long. So thank you. And I think that Stephanie said Stephanie and Janet are gonna do it together, buddy system. And then Stephanie said, part 2, get part 2 on the schedule. So we're gonna be working. Maybe next time, we can do something a little different and have Berjoh actually take over the channel for a day and just say whatever she wants to say. So we'll work on that for you guys. So anything else you want to tell the people how they can find you on social media?
So I am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn under BE Notary Services, B Elise Notary Services LLC. You probably seen me on there because I'm, like I said, I post every day, all the time. But yeah, if you see me, see a post, just message me, say hey sometime. I'm very friendly.
She sure is. She sure is. And for me, you guys can find me at Reggie's Expressions, and that's spelled REGGEE' Expressions on Facebook and YouTube. And then you can find me at Reggie's Expressions, REGGEES _ expressions on Instagram. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys for joining. And until next time, peace out. Have a good night. Bye, guys. Do you mind holding back for a little bit, Berjoh?
Okay.